Welcome back to Beyond Wisdom, where we explore timeless truths for a more peaceful and meaningful life. There's a quiet but powerful idea that echoes through ancient wisdom traditions, that we are not our thoughts. In a world filled with mental noise, distractions, and self-criticism, this idea offers more than comfort. It offers freedom. Today, we'll explore how the wise across centuries saw the true self, not as the voice in your head, but something deeper, steadier, and infinitely more peaceful. Most of us live with a constant internal monologue, the voice that narrates our day, judges our actions, revisits past conversations, and worries about what's next. It comments on everything. But in ancient India, sages of the Upanishads taught that this voice is not the true self. They used the word Atman to describe the unchanging inner presence, the silent witness behind the thoughts. According to the Chandogya Upanishad, that which is the subtle essence, in it all that exists has itself. It is the true. It is the self. And thou art that. They were pointing to a deeper awareness beneath thought, one that doesn't react, doesn't speak, but simply observes. The mind may chatter endlessly, but the true self is the space in which that chatter happens. When we begin to notice the difference between thoughts and the one noticing them, something shifts. The thoughts lose their grip. The Stoics of ancient Rome also warned against identifying too closely with the mind's activity. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But what's striking is his frequent return to the idea of the inner citadel, a calm place within that is untouched by chaos. Epictetus taught his students to observe their thoughts without being swept away by them. To him, the true self was not the bundle of emotions or mental reactions, but the capacity to choose how we respond. The Stoics didn't aim to suppress thoughts. They aimed to see through them, like clouds passing across the sky, knowing the sky itself remains unchanged. Unlike many traditions that tried to define the soul, the Buddha often stayed silent when asked, "What is the self?" But his teachings made it clear. The thoughts, feelings, and sensations we experience are not the self. He described them as impermanent, constantly changing. To cling to them is to suffer. In the anattā doctrine, the teaching of not self, he encouraged people to observe experience without attachment. A thought arises, a feeling follows, and yet, just like a breeze, through an open window they pass. The one who sees this, the awareness that watches without judgment, is closer to what might be called the true self. And in meditation, when the thoughts begin to quiet, that awareness can be felt as peace, not needing to explain or prove anything. Across indigenous cultures, there's often a respect for silence, for listening to the land, the ancestors, and the self. In many Native American traditions, the idea of the self is not a solitary ego, but a web of being, where inner knowing is accessed not through thinking, but through quiet attention. The Lakota people have a saying, "Be still, the silence will teach you." This points to a truth felt, not figured out. To many traditional cultures, the mind is not the master. It is just one voice among many. The body, the spirit, the earth, and the dream, they all speak. And the true self is not caught in the storm of mental chatter. It is the listener, the witness, the one who knows without needing to speak. 14th century England, an anonymous Christian mystic wrote, "The Cloud of Unknowing, a guide for those seeking union with God through contemplation." He advised readers to set aside every thought, even thoughts about God. He called for sinking into the cloud of forgetting, where words and concepts fall away, and all that remains is presence. For the mystics, the true self was not the thinking mind, but the soul, a space of pure stillness where God could be encountered directly. Thomas Merton, a modern contemplative, once wrote, "At the center of our being is a point of nothingness. It is all silence. And in that silence, they believed, we are most ourselves." The mistake we often make is treating thought like truth. But thought is just a tool, like a hammer or a knife. It's useful for solving problems, telling stories, planning, but it's not meant to run the whole show. When we confuse our passing thoughts with our identity, I'm anxious, I'm a failure, I can't do this, we hand over our peace to something unstable. The wise throughout time urged us to step back, to recognize that we can use the mind without being ruled by it. Thoughts can be loud, persuasive, even terrifying, but they are not permanent, and they are not you. The quiet awareness that notices your thoughts has always been there. Steady, silent, and unchanged. How do we return to this deeper self? Not by thinking harder, not by fixing or changing every thought, but by watching, just watching. The Desert Fathers, early Christian monks in Egypt, spoke of hesychia, a deep inner stillness born from solitude and attention. They didn't try to silence the mind forcefully. They simply watched it, patiently, gently. Over time, the thoughts would lose their hold, and a deeper peace would emerge. Whether in a monastery, a forest, or a small corner of your home, the practice is the same. Watch the thoughts rise and fall, like waves on the surface of the sea. And remember, the sea is not the waves. The more we identify with thoughts, the more we suffer. But when we create space between me and my thoughts, something shifts. We don't stop thinking. That's not the goal. We stop believing everything the mind says. We stop letting it define us. The ancient Chinese sage Lao Tzu said, "Knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is true wisdom. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power." But to truly know ourselves, we must learn to see beyond the voice that judges and worries and labels. True knowing comes in quiet moments, when the mind is still, or when we no longer confuse its noise with who we are. In the end, the thoughts will keep coming. That's what the mind does. But you don't have to believe them. You don't have to fight them either. You can simply watch, like the mountain watches the clouds. Beneath it all, you are not the storm of your thoughts. You are the sky, wide and quiet and whole. When was the last time you noticed your thoughts without reacting to them? Share a moment where you felt that deeper stillness within. Thanks for watching. If this video brought you value, subscribe to Beyond Wisdom. Until next time, stay calm, stay strong, and stay wise.